Welcome, ladies. Welcome today on this fabulous day with the full moon in Sagittarius, and the sun is in Gemini right now. So it's just a few minutes before 1 o'clock Eastern time here in Ontario, Canada. So let us know, ladies, in the chat as we invite everybody into the room today. And thank you for being here. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes, probably until about 2 or 3 minutes after 1 o'clock. And if you'd like to join us and show your video so we can see your beautiful faces, please do so. This is a great space. And we have Colette in the house already. We have Rachel.
So excited to be here.
Yes, yes. It's a wonderful day. And a lot of women that actually that I work with tend to be very sensitive when it comes to the astrological sky. So today is actually a fantastic day to host this event when our energy is super strong. So I even timed it to offer this today.
I can feel that. That's really cool.
Yes, yes.
Potent.
Yes, fantastic. Give it some time. People can just get themselves sorted. Welcome, ladies. I'm going to greet all of you as you come into this masterclass room here with us today. And feel free to take yourself, to allow yourself to be seen so we can see your beautiful faces, and put your videos on if you feel comfortable. And also let us know in the chat where you are joining in from, because I offered this at a very specific time in the day so we could get some people even in eastern parts of the world, because I'm Canadian. So yes, Colette, fellow Canadian in the house. Thank you for joining. So that means it's early for you, Colette.
It's perfect. It's 1 minute to 10.
That's
Great
great.
way to start
Early in the morning. Early bird. Early bird gets a worm. So where else? Tyler, is that Texas? Tyler, Texas? TX? I don't know. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, Tyler, Texas.
Oh, that's Texas? I love Texas. I've been there a couple of times. I'm like, I love how they do everything big in Texas. We have Maggie. Yeah. Yes, Maggie is in the house. Thank you for joining us, Maggie. Let us know in the chat, or take yourself off mute. Let us know where you're joining in from.
All right. Good to see you, Tamarin.
You too.
The UK's in the house too.
That's exactly what I'm getting. A lot of requests for women from the UK, and they kept asking me to do my master classes earlier in the day. So I'm honoring these women based on their requests. Oh, Maggie's in from LA. Oh, we're going to hold some space for you, Maggie.
Thank you.
Hold space for all of you people in California today, ladies. Yeah, you guys are going through some major shifts.
Yes, I would love to hear more about them from the sky's perspective.
That might be another masterclass, but I can definitely speak on that. You might even hear that at the very end. It's a very general message I have for people, but it's important that we do really start to pay attention to the astrological sky, because it can tell us so much about what's really happening down here on the planet, right? As above, so below.
Great. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Amy, welcome back.
Hi.
You were the inspiration. I had other women ask me to host these events this time in the day so that they could join from Europe. And so thank you for that, because you triggered something.
Oh, no way. No,
yeah.
That first one was great, honestly. And then I saw this other one pop up and I was like, oh my gosh, there's another one. I'm really joining it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just kind of tweaking my avatar because, well, I'll talk about that after, but I just want to remind everybody too, I'll share in a little bit when we start. We just wanted to give it a couple of minutes so people could really join in, get grounded, And there's going to be lots of time for Q&A. If we do go over a little bit today, it won't be long. I've kind of really practiced this, so we won't be here too long, but I'll mention too, there will be a recording. So yeah, because I love it when people have really good questions, right? So anybody else that's just joined us, let us know, ladies, in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and let us know where you're coming in from, where you're joining us from in the world. We'll probably wait about 1 more minute and then we'll get started. So even while we're waiting, we can even just take a couple of deep breaths, join our energy together here, and just honor this space that we have. Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Okay. I just want to let all of you know, I'm going to introduce you to Colette. She is my amazing wing woman today, fellow Canadian in the house. She is going to be looking out in the chat if you guys have any questions or if you have any comments. We'll try to keep this about an hour. And I am going to be honest and genuine and authentic and let you know I'm trying some new technology today. And so I am going to be using a teleprompter, but I'm going to be stopping because I want to make sure that you're all going to get these 3 steps very specifically and chronologically. And sometimes when I start talking and people ask me questions, I can go way out there. So I want to stay on track and on focused. So just honor that for me. And we'll get started because we've got some more people coming in. And this is also being recorded. So I'm going to start that. And let's see here. Okay. And here we go. So again, I want to welcome all of you for coming out here and joining in this room today. And many of you have shared where you're joining in from. So if you're just popping in, let us know. And I want to encourage all of us to stop multitasking today and to really give yourself permission to bring your own energy into this masterclass today with 100% of focus. And I am your host today. So my name is Tamron, and I want to say really thank you for carving out this precious time to be here with me and to connect with all of the other amazing women here. Because now that I am much wiser at this stage in my life at 61, I really do honor time. It is my biggest thing. And everything just seems to happen so fast. And this really is a powerful time in our lives where women can become healthier and authentically happier. And health is our wealth. So is there anyone who agrees with that statement? Like, raise your hand. Yes, right? So I want to say welcome. This is my masterclass, Beat the Blues, 3 Steps to Transform Your Emotional Challenges into Your Inner Strength, because it really is possible to learn how to use your unique astrological birth chart to help you begin creating a personalized action plan to restore a balanced mind, body, and spirit using this ancient wisdom. And by the end of the hour, you will walk away with at least 1 powerful action step to get you started so that you can begin feeling better today. So who is ready for that? Right? Okay, so let me plug in some more technology here so I'm not getting lost. Okay. So again, if you're new, I want to encourage you to remember to stay until the end of the hour to receive the bonus gift that I do have for you. And there's just a little bit of basic housekeeping. And I just want to remind all of us that this is a safe space to share anything that comes up for you. So whatever happens in the room stays in the room, right, ladies? Does everyone agree? Right? This is really a safe space. And you will all, if you've registered today on Eventbrite, you will receive the recording to this in a follow-up email within the next 48 hours. And that's going to come from my business email and no longer through Eventbrite. So you're going to be put on a mailing list so you can stay followed up with a lot of the other amazing events that are going to be happening within my academy. And there will be times when I pause from teaching about these 3 steps so that you can ask questions. So please hold on during the presentation and we'll make some time for you. And my assistant, my amazing wing woman, Colette, is also going to keep an eye out in the chat for any questions. Okay. So ladies, pop a yes in the chat or even raise your hand if you are wanting to know the 3 steps to transform your emotional challenges based on this ancient wisdom of astrology, right? This is why we're all here. Okay. Raise your hand if you are struggling with feeling blue, right? Like feeling down is not fun. Yeah, I see some hands. And what about any of you? Are you lacking any motivation, right? Like I said to someone recently, it's hard to have fire when you're underwater. This is the element of water. So when you got a lot of water going on in your life, it's hard to find the spark, right? And some of us are going through these struggles. So if you're going through some form of a traumatic event, this is water. This is what brings us down, right? So with all of us recognizing we're all in the right place today. And I bet the stars are aligning all of us to gather here today, right? Who agrees? Who believes in some kind of woo-woo astrology? Like there is no accidents, right? Only synchronicities. So I'm going to encourage you to participate full on so you can walk away today feeling more empowered. Okay, and take a deep breath. And really, before we get rolling in the training today, I'd really love to share a personal story with all of you in case you don't know me already. I am so grateful for the many healing modalities that I have studied to help me navigate the emotional and the wild changes during the crazy ups and downs of my life. And what you may not know about me is that I've spent over 25 years immersing myself in the world of holistic wellness, from energy work to emotional release therapies, herbal medicine to nutrition. But the one modality that still gives me goosebumps, it's astrology, right? And I believe that depression isn't something to be ashamed of, but instead, a sacred signal that a huge shift is happening. So if you're going through this, I want you to really pay attention because every woman carries a secret map within her, and that's her astrological birth chart. And when we learn how to read it, not just for fun, but as a guide, it becomes a powerful framework for emotional healing. And it helps us to understand why we're feeling low and when that storm might pass and how to nurture ourselves with the right holistic support. And, you know, back in my early 40s, I was recently divorced and still grieving the recent death of my father, and while raising 2 young boys on my own. And from the outside, I looked strong. But inside, I was secretly battling depression and even suicidal thoughts. Physically, my body was screaming for help. I suffered from relentless sinus infections that led to surgery, and that didn't even help. And I remember sitting in my doctor's office with my swollen face, feeling exhausted and emotionally numb. She looked at me and said, "Well, I've flagged most medications in your file, and you've reacted badly to all of them. So she says, if you ever get seriously sick, I don't think we're going to have any options for you." Like, can you imagine sitting there like a doctor telling you that? Like, I left her office in shock. And I was barely able to see the road in front of me, driving against the sun, even with my sunglasses on. And as I drove towards the school to pick up my boys, that drive seemed horrific as I could barely keep my eyes open from the unbearable pain. Like I felt like I had literally been punched in the face over and over and over. It was just like, when is this going to stop? And literally, this is not a lie. An hour later, I was standing in the school foyer with my swollen face, a heavy heart, when a fellow mom approached me and I shared what I just happened in my doctor's office. Like, I must have looked pretty like crazy. And she knew, and she was a newly certified health coach. And she gently asked me if I'd be open to trying something different. And you know what? I was so desperate. I said yes. And you know what? Little did I know that I had just opened the door that would lead me to a completely new path in my life, a path that led me to where I am here today, standing here with all of you, right? And the next day, I had my first holistic treatment with her. She did some ear coning. She gave me a sinus massage, and she provided me with a few natural herbal remedies. So I went home with my little bag of stuff. And for the first time in months, I could breathe. That night, I slept soundly. And by morning, the pain and the pressure in my head had lifted. I felt hope. I was like, I can't believe what just happened to me. So I needed to know how and why this worked. And my quest led me to become a certified health coach, a certified Bach flower practitioner, then an herbalist, and then learning about nutrition and implementing raw vegan meals for cleansing. And guess what? In 2009, I opened my own wellness business with a retail store and launched a popular online radio show. I was coaching clients live on the radio every day, helping through depression, grief, anxiety, and taught them about the emotional healing properties with plants, food, and energy. It was literally that simple. But not everybody was into it. And then in 2016, I felt the pull to reach more women, and I pivoted online. And at that time, I joined the essential oils movement because that was a huge craze at that time. And I began sharing more of my own stories on social media and on YouTube. And that's when I discovered astrology, and everything started to click. And when the global lockdown hit, I followed my intuition and I became a certified astrologer. And suddenly, I had this language that could validate my clients' experiences and my own. Things were timed. When things happened, it was in my chart. And even their birth charts revealed the perfect timing for healing, for taking action, and the specific remedies for emotional support. So my background in wellness made it easy for me to recommend these practical remedies based on the energies activated in their own charts, right? So interest in my journey grew. Women reached out, eager to explore how astrology could become a guiding light through their own life experiences. And it wasn't just about a one-time event. It was about mastering their own feelings over time with even a deep-seated understanding of themselves without shame or guilt. And yeah, you know what? It happened to me again because my own emotional health was tested again recently in 2024 when I had major digestive issues happening, weight gain, hormonal imbalances, as I was also moving through a huge shift with a very difficult personal matter regarding my home and my family. But this time, I didn't fall apart, right? Ladies, I rose because I had the tools and the knowledge to implement based on my unique astrological birth chart. And I knew exactly what to do so that I could manage the sadness and the changes that I was experiencing. And so overall, I've realized that astrology shouldn't just be something you gloss over with disregard. It should be about freedom. It should empower us to make healthier, more aligned choices. And it's not even about prediction. It can even be about preparation. Because let's face it, ladies, life is not a straight line. We all have ups and downs, right? This is the reality. So today I blend astrology with holistic health to offer something truly unique, a framework for your emotional and physical well-being. Pardon me. And I've created a space for women to heal, grow, and to rise together through my private VIP 90-day programs. And this is no longer about me. It's about us, all of us in the room here, and all of the women who are interested. And I am on a mission to support more women so that they have more choices in front of them. So I'm asking you today to let's step into our power together during the age of Aquarius, where I believe astrology and holistic health is the future to becoming everyday tools in the mainstream for our overall health and our emotional well-being. And now is your time to embrace this ancient wisdom. And I just want to remind you, if you're struggling, there is nothing wrong with you if you are feeling down. And I'm going to ask you, are you ready to transform your emotional pain into your inner strength? I want you to stop feeling broken and to start feeling aligned and empowered from this. And I believe no one should ever feel desperate or alone when experiencing dark times. There is always one step that you can take to help you feel better. So today, ladies, we are going to rise. All right. So I am going to take a deep breath. I'm going to take a sip of my drink, right? And let's start the training. Okay. And again, there's going to be times when we can stop if you guys are confused. So I'm going to try and make this really simple. So ladies, raise your hands. Are you ready? Because I am sharing the secret information about astrology and the hidden link to our emotional well-being using what we call the 4 elements that are represented in an astrological birth chart. Okay. So I'm going to pause for a minute here because I'm going to share my screen with you because I've created something for you, because not everybody is an astrologer in the room today. And even some people don't even understand what astrology is. So can everybody see my screen? Do you see the image? Okay. So you don't need to be an astrologer, but in astrology, and what we're talking about today are the 4 elements. Now, these aren't just in astrology. The 4 elements are universal elements. Some people use 5, but for our purposes today in astrology, we use just 4, okay? And that's fire, earth, air, and water. So this circle image that you see on the screen here is an image of an astrological birth chart, which means the sky is divided into 12 pieces of pie, 12 equal sections. And every one of those sections is your sun sign. It's an astrological sun sign. It's the Aries, it's the Taurus, the Gemini, the Cancer, right? So on and so forth. So we all have a sun sign. But each one of those sun signs represents one of the 4 elements of astrology. So in total, we do some math here. We have 12 divided by 4, which means there's 3 times that each element is going to be in a sign. So there's 3 fire signs, there's 3 earth signs, there's 3 water signs, and there's 3 air. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. So we talk about the 4 elements in this masterclass, and in my VIP program, I also share some amazing information about your health that has to do with your sun sign and your moon sign. Okay. That's it, right? So that is what an astrological chart is about and how the 4 elements are dispersed. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to share another image with you. Just want to get this up here. Okay, let me get it bigger. Yeah. All right. And share this one. Okay. Can you see this image on the screen? Okay. So what I did as an astrologer is I took a picture of what the astrological sky looks like. And this was for 1 o'clock today when this masterclass started. Now, to the average person, this is just a bunch of jibber jabber and a bunch of crazy lines, and it doesn't make sense because it's not supposed to make sense to you. Pardon me. But the minute you were born, there is a picture of what the astrological sky looks like. So an astrologer needs to know the day you were born, hopefully the exact time if they have it. We don't need it, but for this class, we don't really need it. And also where you were born. And the reason why is because everywhere where all the 10 planets are in one of those signs. And one of those signs could be a fire sign. It could be an earth sign, a water sign. And that tells me about your emotional health and what you need to feel better throughout the year, because throughout your life. Specific times an astrologer can predict when a person is going to have a crisis. And another chart we can cast is to find out what kind of season your emotional body is going to be in. And that always lasts for 18 months. And it will repeat itself over time. And it will go around. So 18 months times 12 is usually just over 18 years. Okay. So this helps us as an astrologer to support you. So does that make sense? This is what an astrologer does. Okay, so this is an astrology chart. So for example, really quick, if someone was born today, if I am looking at their chart, I know their sun sign, meaning the circle in the middle, the sun is in Gemini, and we go right across the screen and you see a little glyph of a moon, and the moon is in the Sagittarius sign. That tells me that this person's moon sign was in a fire element. So their mood disposition is what? Ladies, can you guess? A little bit fiery, okay? Which means they can get triggered, right? So our moon signs really give us indications. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to get back to my information. And I just want to remind you that this is all you need to understand today. So we're going to get into the training. So does that make sense to everybody, or does anybody have questions? Are we good? Yeah. Okay. I wanted to keep it simple because it really does need to be simple. Okay. So our teaching point number 1. Raise your hand or type a yes in the chat if you are experiencing or you have experienced one or more symptom or more than one symptom of depression, and you might feel like you're trying to deal with one symptom and then you feel confused or even frustrated about another symptom, right? Yeah. The truth is we can't solve all of our symptoms all at once, but we do have the power to start with just one step, and even today, so that you can start feeling better. And each of the 4 elements represents a specific area regarding emotional health and wellness in astrology. So I am going to do something little here and see who is going to be brave with us today. I just want to pull something up on the screen here for myself. And we're going to pause because we're going to do a little bit of math and science here. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys, who here in the room is willing to share what is currently happening in your life that's making you feel down? And you don't have to go in detail. Like, could be like, I've been feeling down or unmotivated for a little while, a long time, it's recent. Anybody willing to just give us a quick share? Awesome, Maggie. Thanks for your bravery. It's a safe space.
Hi, Tamron.
Hey,
Um, Yeah, the world at large really gets me down these days,
yeah,
as well as my own growth within that, because I can no longer abide certain uh, certain ways I was perhaps affected in the past or raised, and I'm just going through a huge period of growth, um, and uh, and learning to speak up more.
yeah. And thank you for sharing because that is so validating. Because Maggie is so right. When we are going through a huge shift, it can be so scary and it can be so emotional. And sometimes we need someone to validate what's happening and why it's happening. And like I say as an astrologer, is that you are going through something. And there is a very specific time in someone's chart where we can look. And when someone comes to me as an astrologer, I already know they're in a crisis. And I always say, I can predict, is this happening? Is it in your relationship? Is it your home life? Is it in your career? And people go, how do you know that? Oh, I go, I don't know. They think I'm psychic. I go, I'm not psychic. I just understand how to read your chart. So what Maggie is saying is that, this huge shift is happening and sometimes it's hard to deal with because I would even predict that in Maggie's chart, she is going to have something in there that shows that she is sensitive. Okay. And this is water. All right. And some people are literally born more sensitive to others. So people call you a crybaby, you're crying all the time. And you know what? You can't help it, or you can't stop getting emotional when you see things happening. Right? Is that what you're feeling, Maggie? Like, you just can't stay silent anymore. Right? And it's scary. Right? So what Maggie's saying is there's a part of me that's stirring. Right? And we need to stay emotionally grounded. So Maggie, since you were so brave already, and we're going to talk about this because these are part of the 4 steps. Can you share, and I'm going to make a little note here, how often do you exercise for at least 20 minutes? And this isn't like being perfect. This is like honest because none of us are perfect. So, and this is what we call the fire element in astrology. So how often do you exercise? Just 20 minutes, even 20 minutes every day?
Well, I have a dog, and so that forces me to take long walks
Love
in the
that.
morning, especially for about a half an hour. And so that's 4 days a week for sure. And then I also exercise another days a week for at least 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. And that's great. And don't we love dogs for that? Right? To keep the fire. So Maggie
Yeah.
has strong fire. Okay. So she's got consistent fire going. What about your earth element, Maggie? How often do you eat at home or cook from scratch, eat really healthy, like what's in your food ingredients?
Um, 3 days a week, probably.
3. Okay. All right. That's good. What about your air element? How often do you spend at least 20 minutes all by yourself, whether so that you're alone and you can sit and meditate and you can't hear anybody else's stuff, the TV, all you can hear is yourself?
Barely ever.
Okay. All right.
Probably
So
just in the bathroom.
this is good. And this is what I want everybody to pay attention to today. Okay. It's not about being perfect because everybody's going to walk away with an action step. And the last one is, how much water do you drink every day, Maggie?
Oh, I drink a lot of water. I drink probably, gosh, I drink um, 28 times 2 or 3 sometimes. Yeah. Um,
How many cups do you think?
64 ounces. So it's close to 100 ounces a day. I have a,
Okay, that's good. Because
yeah.
this is 1 cup is 8. So 8, 64. So you are getting at least 8 cups. This is good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
8 cups plus. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your bravery. All right. Because it is about being honest. Um, and so I want to share with you guys something about water. Maggie does really good with water. But I used to have my own radio show, like I talked about earlier, and I used to get so many health practitioners that I would interview, and we would talk about all kinds of information, especially about health, because it's not just about doing everything. It's about, being real and understanding, what our current reality is. But it was so fascinating when I understood about the element of water, because what he said to me was, the majority of people are really dehydrated and they don't understand it, because a lot of people still drink a lot of coffee and alcohol. And what he taught me on that radio show that night was 1 cup of coffee, okay, is a diuretic. So what that means is that it will pull the minerals out of your blood. And if the blood doesn't have the minerals, the blood pulls it from our bones. Okay. So it's the coffee is a diuretic, and 1 cup of coffee to rebalance our blood, just to bring it back to homeostasis, is 8 cups of pure water, right? So if you have 1 cup of coffee, you got to drink at least 4 of these, because these are 500 ml, just to get back to 0. And then we need to drink water, right? And when we drink alcohol, it's not as bad. So Maggie does a good job of drinking lots of water, but we really have to pay attention to our water. And there's a reason why. So I'm going to keep going here a little bit and talk about the essence of water, because there's a great quote about healing, and it says here, healing takes time and asking for help is a courageous step, but ultimately your health is your responsibility, and really no one can do it for you. And right now, even as an astrologer, I'm going to share with you guys, we are experiencing the fall of so many of these patriarchal systems in our society, especially in healthcare and education. So as a certified astrologer, this is currently what's reflecting in the astrological sky. And in my personal opinion, what that means is that we have to have the power to take these matters into our own hands and be responsible for our health. And this is really what the age of Aquarius is all about. And it's about helping each other, right? So just to recap, this is just step number 1, which is just understanding that everything to do with astrology when uncovering information is always represented by a basic division of the 4 elements. Okay, so I'm just going to stop right there. And I'm going to take any questions. Does anybody have any questions right now about what I'm trying to explain? Colette, how's it going in the chat there? We're good? Okay, so does that make sense? Right? We're going to talk about our emotional health.
There is one that says, I'm overwhelmed, overstimulated, exhausted, and over it. My marriage isn't the best right now, as my husband suffers from alcohol addiction, which gets worse during times of hardship. Trying to keep my head above water as I'm a sole provider for my kids and my mother, who has progressive dementia.
And what's her name?
Tella.
Tella. Okay.
I'm sorry, Tella. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Teleah.
Yeah. Yes. And I just want to say, Tella, thank you for your bravery, being honest and sharing that. That was my story, Talia. Okay. Talia.
Thank you for that, Talia. Thank you.
Yeah. And, let's speak to that. Okay. So Talia, that was me. And this was, when I knew my marriage was breaking down, I was around 37, and in astrology, this is what people call, I'm going to step away from astrology for a moment, what people call a midlife crisis. But in astrology, we call it your spiritual awakening. And this happens for everybody, and it's going to show up in a different way, in a different form. And that's exactly what I was going through, the same as Tally, and it was so difficult. And, you know, I didn't go into deep detail in my story, but I was dealing with an alcoholic, toxic relationship, like psychologically abusive, not physically abusive. My father had just died. I knew my marriage was ending. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't control the money. I was with someone that making a lot of money, and there was no money in my wallet. Like, I was scared to death at what was going to happen. But I literally wound up in, yeah, and people are passing by. So your astrology chart, I know there's a lot of things in your chart that you're going through. It's multiple things. And for some people, that happens a lot. And so when I wound up in counseling, in Al-Anon, and that counselor gave me homework. And she said, and you have to come back. You have to come back next week. I was in tears, right? And the truth was, she had me go read a spiritual book where I literally had to go and drive the chapters to go get it, right? And it was all about self-help. And so one of the things she said to me is, she said, you don't do anything for yourself. She says, you're so busy looking after all these people. She said, you know, that is one of your biggest problems, is you don't have any boundaries. And I got mad at the woman. Like, I literally wanted to punch her in the face. And this is no word of a lie. Like, I did like the Blair Witch thing. Like, my head must have spun around and did a 180 when she said that to me. And I was like, how dare you talk to me like that? And how dare you think that, you know what I'm going through? Because I don't have time for myself. And she said to me, well, your homework is, you're going to do something for an hour for yourself every day. I looked at her and I said, lady, you're effing crazy. I don't have an hour. I can barely go to the bathroom without my kids walking in or something happening. And she said, okay, call it out. She said, what do you honestly think time-wise you could do for yourself every single day? How many minutes do you think you could handle? And I literally sat there and I said to her, okay, what about, I could do 10 minutes. And she said, okay, then that's your homework. And she was right. I was mad she was right. I didn't know she was, really right until I started doing that. And I literally went home that night and I thought to myself, what am I going to do for 10 minutes? And I thought, when was the last time I painted my toenails? No word of a lie. I sat in my bathroom, bawling my eyes out, painting one toenail at a time so I could get to that 10 minutes, so I could say, I did it, right? But something shifted in me. And I'm going to be honest. I was like, oh, fuck, I feel good. Looking at my toes, I was like, wow, it empowered me on some weird way. And so I kept doing it. I kept finding something, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And so when I went back the next week, she was like, okay, now we're going to take you on the next step. Okay. And this is in my astrology wellness coaching program, is your chart tells me exactly what you need to do. That is so aligned with you, it will freak you out. And some of it doesn't cost money, right? But the point was, there was an energetic shift in myself where I had to start looking after myself because I was allowing it to happen. Even though there was crisis in all of my life, that was the beginning stage. And so after, I don't know, a couple of months, I stopped going. I was on a roll, I wound up in a different type of coaching that was, like wellness, helping people who were married to alcoholics. And I went to Al-Anon coaching. But it was the act of just looking after myself was what that woman got me to do, right? And so we all need to do different things. It's just that we have to take the baby steps. Okay, everybody understand the message I'm trying to get here today? It's not about being perfect. I'm not perfect. I fall down all the time, but I know what gets me going. And I know what lights me up. And when you become empowered, I'll just close off and share this one more thing, is that woman also said to me, she says, I'm going to tell you something else. And she goes, you're just on this journey. You're just starting. But you better be prepared for what's going to happen when you start looking after you, because the people that are relying on you to do all this, they aren't going to like it. And that was the hard truth, because they're so used to me saying yes, because it was ingrained in me to nurture. As women, we are nurturers. Someone needs something, guarantee it's going to be a woman that's going to sign up and show up. And just knowing even your astrology sign. I know. Any Virgos in the room here today? Oh, yeah, there we go. Hello, what do you need? I'm here. Forget about my life. That's a Virgo. I'll tell you, that's ingrained in Virgos. They are the helpers, they're the servants. But you know what? They're also the healers. And when they find themselves, they have the power to help so many other people, but they have to learn, they have to go through that themselves. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So thank you for your honesty. We're going to keep going because I want to make sure you ladies all walk away from something else. Okay. So how many of you really want to have a 1-degree shift right now and experience just a wee bit of magic, right? So we're going to take a couple of minutes, because we might end up going over a few minutes here, but without any distractions. So I'm going to ask all of us to just join together in just a little tiny visualization. Okay, let's have some fun here. And I want you guys to close your eyes and just take 3 deep breaths together. Just take a nice deep breath in and breathe out. Take another deep breath in and breathe out. And take that final breath. And we're just going to join our energy. And I want you to imagine that you are outside of your own physical body and you're looking down on you. And I want you to choose to see yourself in your favorite place that always makes you feel happy when you're there, right? Go to your favorite place. And I want you to pretend that you are an angel or a spirit guide or even a loved one who's passed over and is lovingly watching over you. Just take another deep breath. And I want to tell you that you have the magic power to energetically send an instant message so that you can hear what you honestly need to start doing today. And without thinking about this, I want you to choose just one of the 4 following elements: fire, earth, air, or water. And which one of the 4 elements is really resonating with you today, or literally calling you in that message? And trust your gut. And repeat the element in your mind. Okay, now place your hands on your heart and thank your higher self for sending you this message. And take another breath and open your eyes. Okay, so we're going to do a quick share. If anybody else is brave enough, what did you hear? We'll just take one. If someone is willing to share, because I don't want to go too over today. I might call you out.
I was going to say water. Like water came instant.
Awesome.
For me.
Thank you, Colette.
And there's air, earth coming up, but it was
Yeah.
water for me.
Yeah, I'm seeing them. Awesome. So everybody got a little something. This is great. Okay. So with all of that, I'm going to let you guys know what that means. Okay. And thank you for just doing that little exercise. So the truth is, you already know what you need to do so that you can start feeling better. It's just that, remember, life gets in the way and we all slip up And then we don't make the time to start looking after ourselves. And managing our feelings requires creating a system to let us check in with our bodies all the time. And I believe the best way to focus is just on one action step based on the element that just spoke to you today. Because when we're feeling down and blue, it's most likely that at least one of those 4 elements is out of balance. Guaranteed. I mean, me, in my crisis, they were all out of balance. I wasn't doing any of that stuff because I was so busy looking after other people. And that's hard. It's hard to live like that. And for some people, it can be those 2 or 3 elements that need to be taken into action. And I want to remind you to always trust your intuition. Okay. And, remember when I shared in my story that I felt so lost and scared because I didn't know what to do. Right. And I'm sure some of you ladies can relate to how lost I was feeling. Right. And life, sometimes we feel lost. Right. We don't understand what's happening. We all want to know the future, what's going to happen, how am I going to get through this? But the truth is, sometimes we just got to live it and we got to go through it because we don't even understand even why it's happening. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right? So I want you to understand that if you're feeling down, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm going to stress that again. But when you can admit that you don't know, I guarantee there is someone who's ready to step up into your life who does know how to support you. Help is always available. Remember, I met that woman that day, right? Literally coming out of a doctor's office. I have so many stories of synchronicity that people get freaked out. Even my kids say, Mom, this stuff always happens to you. It's like, I know whenever I feel like something's going to happen and I'm honest about it, or I'm connecting to it and being honest, boom, something aligns in my life and people step into my life and I go, hey, I think that's destiny, right? And I believe there's no accident that you are on this masterclass with me right now, because I'm here for you so you can get the support you need to implement those changes in your life. And when I showed up at that woman's house, right, I was making changes to my earth element. That's where I started. And then I moved into other things. And I started because my physical body, the earth, was toxic. And no one ever taught me about natural supplements or how to use herbs to support my emotional well-being. That wasn't even physical. That was to even help me feel better emotionally, right? And let's face it, we don't learn this in school, right? So I'm talking about an astrology, right? Those old educational systems are coming down and new things are coming in. And a lot of it is going to be about self-empowerment, self-education, right? So that is the recap for number 2, is to just claim today one specific element that you intuitively know that you can begin making changes. And I want you to stay focused and I want you to create an intention. Okay. So does anybody have any questions at this point before we go into the final step? We're good, right? Make this easy for everybody. Okay. So if you chose fire, if that's what came to you, I'm going to encourage you to just move your physical body for at least 20 minutes a day, doing something, and this is important, doing something you love to do, right? Maggie had her story. She walking her dog. She looks to me like she lit up when she talked about her dog. She probably loves walking her dog, right? So this, when you talk about fire element, it's not about joining a gym membership and trying to get out there each and every single day. The reason why is because if it stresses you out, then you are defeating the purpose. Stress raises your cortisol and it creates a hormonal imbalance. And we want you to succeed. So I want you to make this an easy choice for yourself, right? Remember me, I had to think of something so easy, painting my toenails, right? And then I felt good painting my toenails. It was crazy, okay? And if you chose earth, I'm going to encourage you to prepare just one small meal every day that is not using any processed or store-bought items, okay? Preferably, if you can, using a couple of organic ingredients, if that's possible. I don't want you to break the bank account. And it doesn't even have to be fancy. It could just be as simple as going to the local grocery store or your health food store, or just buying a couple of pieces of organic fruit, or even you can do organic tea and just brew that at home. Okay. You're just creating a healthy habit that can eventually grow, because these little habits will add up and you're going to start feeling better. Okay. And if you chose air, I'm going to encourage you to sit quietly with yourself for at least 20 minutes every day, preferably outdoors or somewhere where no one will distract you. Okay. Get your timer on your phone or your watch. And if this means you have to get up early or you got to go to bed after everybody else, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Because I'm going to tell you something, spending time with yourself is so important, because your intuition is your greatest relationship. And when you're feeling down, you may want to be alone. I get that. We just want to like run and hide when all this stuff's going on in our lives. But it doesn't have to be for that pity party, because we all need the pity parties. I agree with that. One of my best friends says, I always give myself one day of my pity party when my life falls apart, but then I'm back on track. And this can be a powerful time when you start enhancing your intuitive abilities, so that you can connect with your true feelings and to start listening. Because every time I've listened to my intuition, I'm telling you, that's when, boom, things happened. Because intuition is not logical. And for a lot of people that don't trust their intuition, they're too busy listening to other people's stuff, right? And when you can connect to a specific emotion that brews up for you when you're sitting by yourself, that also helps to determine the natural remedies that can be used to help you rebalance into a more positive state. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. And if you chose water, I'm going to encourage you, ladies, to reduce the amount of caffeine and your alcohol so you can raise the water that your body needs on a daily basis. And most people are dehydrated, right? I go through ups and downs with water. And did you know that even like dehydration doesn't even affect your body? It affects your mood and your emotional resilience. And when we're even feeling slightly dehydrated, it can lead to fatigue, brain fog, irritability, and an increased risk of anxiety and depression. And according to a study in 2018 that was published in the World Journal of Psychiatry, dehydration was significantly associated with higher levels of depression in adults, and especially in women, right? So why does this matter? Because our emotional health isn't just about our mindset. It's about your entire body. It's emotional, it's physical, and it's spiritual, right? And if we truly want to feel better during a challenging time in our lives, we have to treat our physical bodies with so much care, right? Who remembers in my story when I talked about how I started studying different healing modalities? Because over time, I was implementing what I had learned and put into my own lifestyle. And I, again, am going to say, I am not perfect, but I slip all the time. But when I'm going through these challenging times, I know I always have to implement something specific. What is the action step that I really need to focus on right now that gives me that power to bounce back? And I have my own specific template, and it's based on my own astrological birth chart. And I carry these holistic items literally around with me. My Bach flower remedies. I've always got different essential oils, ones that I know work for me. You know, I even literally, when I travel, I bring my own tea because I know certain times of the day, I know my body well enough. And if I've eaten something and oh God, my stomach's going to get upset, so on and so forth, right? And so it makes it less frequent for me to slip up. right? So raise your hand, right? If you want the results, I'm going to ask you, I want to see the hands. Who is going to just take action today, right? Whatever came to you today, that's all I'm going to ask you awesome ladies to do, right? Just do a little step, right? Just take those little baby steps. Because that's when the magic really happens, right? And so for all of you, if you want some additional support from me that will help you to understand even something else that you can do on a weekly basis that's aligned with the astrological sky, so you can start learning some simple action steps, because this is part of the gift I'm going to have for you. I want to say that every day and even every week, that specific astrological events, meaning when certain planets, whether it's like today, it's the full moon, and I know people are going to be crying, I even know people might be feeling really jealous today. There's a lot of things, right? And these events happen, and on a weekly basis, this can even trigger specific emotions that many people are feeling all at the same time on a global scale. So even today on a full moon, the women here in North America, how is it the women maybe in Australia or in Ireland or whatever are feeling the same way? How is that possible? I'm telling you, it has to do with the astrological sky, right? And a full moon, even like right now, women tend to be super sensitive, right? Teary, don't know why they're crying, right? Our dreams can be really intense. Like I have had some wild dreams. I had a wild dream a couple of nights ago. It was like, whoa, I had to write that one down. That was just beyond amazing. And I was like, yeah, I know, because every time the full moon comes, I don't sleep. And it's not that my mind is racing. It's not that. It's like my body is responding to the moon, right? And so even when the sun and the moon are in exact opposite positions in the sky, you got to remember the sun is reflecting off of the moon, right? So it makes our emotions intense. And it's a good thing, because when it's a full moon, it means whatever is bubbling up for you is what needs to be released. The moon is talking to you, right? So this is a cleansing energy. So even in this week, I'm recommending that people use lemongrass in their tea, and to even use cedar wood as an essential oil, either on the wrist or even in the diffusers, or put it in your bath, okay? Because you want to use it to release what's coming up. And plants have those emotional healing properties. And we start to manage our emotions, we can stay more balanced, knowing what to use. All right. Does this make sense? Like paying attention to the sky is giving you clues all the time. Okay. So each week I create a video that goes out across my social media. It goes to the local TV station, who asked me if we could put someone saw one of my videos, a producer, and said, this people need to learn. She was a woman. Her sister was going through cancer. People need to learn these holistic remedies. And so they go all across my social media, and they also go on my YouTube channel called Your Time Matters. It's a playlist because my show is called Your Time Matters, because I believe our time here on the planet, lady, does matter. And when we're vibing, we're raising the consciousness on the planet when we're happier, right? And so these videos each week, I lay it out really simple. I explain what's currently happening in the astrological sky, so you don't have to figure it out. I can predict what we will all be feeling. And I also recommend, right, which herb to use or what plant. I also recommend an action step that you can do so you can stop feeling stuck. And I also talk about what predominant element that I feel is important that we need to implement. So this week I was talking about earth element, because I was talking about the powerful energy of the full moon, right? And no, that's not an earth. My next week's video, sorry, that's a mistake. My next week's video that I just made is about the earth element. So each week I'll share with you which I think is the predominant element. So if you'd like to watch my free videos to make it easy for you, that I'm going to encourage you to stay till the end, because Colette is going to put a link at the very end. We're not quite there yet. And click through that, because that's your gift. And it's an astrological weekly wellness template, which is your gift. And it's going to teach you the button you got to click on so you can go to my YouTube channel. There's 4 pages in there. There's other additional information. And this is going to help to guide you guys right now, because there's no accidents into what it is that you're feeling, if especially it's global. And then you can feel a little bit more balanced. So again, this is a great little quick action step and something you can implement on top of your own action step that you're going to take, right? And each week you can even, if you subscribe to that channel, you're going to receive those insights and the wellness tips. And not only is this going to help you save time and money, but you're not going to have to buy books. You're not going to have to become a certified astrologer and spend thousands of dollars, or even just try to figure all this out on yourself. Most of the time, I am literally using items in my videos that might already be inside of your kitchen, okay? And on the front page, I've written out a template that you can print out or just use as a guide every week with what's currently happening in the astrological sky, what food or herbs I'm talking about. And you're going to start noticing some patterns, right? Because there's no accident. You know, when the moon is in a certain spot and the sun, you're always going to feel a certain way. And that's when an astrologer understands, okay? So that link, Colette is going to post at the end, because we are right on the hour. So we might be a couple more minutes. Remember, if you ladies have to jump off, there will be a recording, but we are just going to close off tier 2. And I want to make sure we have some time for Q&A, because I know some of you might be thinking about how you can learn more of the specific action steps that are based on your unique astrological chart, because today's training is just that sneak peek at how astrology can be used for our health and our wellness by using those 4 elements, right? And inside of my 90-day coaching program, I will study each specific element of your own unique chart to offer even more detailed information about how you can stay balanced. And it goes even deeper into each element, very specific as to where those elements are, anything's out of balance, and how you can manage that. Plus, also, I will talk about which specific herbs are going to be beneficial to you based on your astrological birth chart, also using which high-grade essential oils and which Bach flower essences will support you individually. So you'll always have this information forever. And if you fall down, you'll always know how to bounce back up. And there's so much more I'm going to be offering in this program, because as we go deeper into that 90 days together in my astrological wellness program, you will learn from a holistic perspective how to manage your emotional well-being even more specifically. And this is different for every single person, because you're going to learn what your sun sign reflects to ensure exactly what you need to be doing so that you feel lit up and inspired. And this has nothing to do with your job. This has something that it is information as an astrologer that is going to stir your soul. And it helps with your overall happiness throughout your entire lifetime. And also what your moon sign reflects in the area of your body that may be more sensitive when it comes to your emotions and your memories, okay? So it's excellent to know for timing regarding a specific action involving those 4 elements, to pay attention to what element the moon was even in on the day you were born, right? And this offers great insight for you. Just like I said today, if someone is born today and the moon is sitting in that fire sign of Sagittarius, these people have a fiery emotional body. They get fired up and they get excited about stuff, right? Because Sagittarius people just want to be on adventures all the time, right? And that's not their sun sign. This is their moon sign, right? So if there's anybody here and you'd want to know more about what is truly best for all of the levels of your own body to get the results that you are seeking by understanding more about your unique astrological birth chart, including the sun and the moon sign and your placements, and a deeper understanding of the 4 elements that we discussed today. And now is when we can stop and ask questions. Does anybody have any questions about what I've been talking about today? Everybody's still here. This is great. So anything at all, anything coming up?
I just find how potent this is to guide my life. Like, and how like what you said about the simple steps, like just,
yeah,
all just when you went through the fire, the earth, the air, like those things we can do, just that one little sentence is so amazing.
Yeah. And thank you for that, because it is. And it's just about consistency. It's about the little steps. Your chart will tell us exactly what specific herbs, whatever. And it's interesting because herbs actually align with body parts and systems. And so you might be prone, like me, always having sinus issues, right? And even on another layer of healing, what I did learn from Louise Hay was sinus infections are a representation of what is it you're not willing to see. What is it you're not willing to admit that's happening in your life? Because I was in denial, right, about what was happening and scared to make changes, scared to confront and say, I want out, right? And so the physical body is going to break down, right? And so the chart is all the clues that you're going to have. And it's not just for now, ladies. This is going to be a lifetime information. You'll never need me again after the 90 minutes, right? Did someone just put a question in, Colette? Because I saw it pop up. Any questions down below?
When will we be able to tell you our chart?
Yeah. Our chart? Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't tell me your chart unless we've agreed to work together. So that is what I'm going to offer you, ladies, here, because we sold out this event. And so I know people are busy and they are going to want to listen to the recordings. So Colette, you can go and share in the chart in the chat down below if anybody wants to book a 90 or a 30-minute, a 90-minute, a 30-minute astrological wellness breakthrough session with me. In Calendly, you'll be able to put your astrology information. You don't necessarily need your time, but I do need your date and your birth time. And I'm going to continue here talking a little bit so we can close up. So you can book a free 30-minute session with me, and I'll be able to ask you some questions, and then I can tell you more about the program during that session too. So I just want to also share that, even what I've talked about today, ladies, that if you've been paying close attention, you, like Colette said, you've just likely seen how powerful astrology is. And again, I want to say it, we are living through a profound global transformation. This is the dawn of the age of Aquarius, right? This is true. And as an astrologer, I understand that Aquarius represents the collective rising together in support of one another. And we're experiencing the fall of the patriarchal systems, dismantling those outdated themes so that we can all rise together from the ashes. That's what that represents. And we are witnessing shifts in world politics, healthcare, and education. And the time to embrace all of this woo-woo is now, especially astrology, holistic health solutions, and the recognition that we are multi-dimensional beings, right? True emotional health and wellness requires balance across our minds, our body, and our spirit, right? That world we cannot see. All right. These are bodies we talk about. Okay. And many of my past clients are truly amazed at how I've been able to create a simple and easy to use astrological framework to keep them organized so they are able to balance all four of the elements over time and feel more confident, happier, and tapping into the amazing wisdom of astrology. And I would just love to just quickly share as we close off a story about my previous client who was already fascinated with astrology. And her name is Maggie. We have another Maggie here today, but this woman's name was Maggie. And she was a 45-year-old woman feeling down and out. And she struggled with weight gain and persistent headaches and low energy, even though her life appeared good from the outside. She was in a great relationship. She had a great new job that she absolutely loved, but for some reason, she couldn't shake depression. And when I studied her astrological birth chart, I validated what she was feeling because it was being triggered by an astrological event. And I told her, "You're not going crazy." She was like, "Oh my God." And there was a logical explanation for her. And I was able to share even how long this period or this cycle, we say in astrology, was even going to last for her. Right. So together we crafted a wellness plan using her astrological chart. I used it as a framework, and Maggie started with the small yet consistent, manageable steps every day because her life was super busy, integrating simple, effective strategies based on the four elements and her sun and her moon sign. And through those specific natural remedies and techniques to release the emotional blockages, even live coaching with me, which we get twice a month, and monthly astrological educational experiences in my community, she found clarity and empowerment. And over time, Maggie started to feel so much happier, and she had this confidence about her, like she was just glowing, and she was deeply aligned with her own astrological chart, right? And she stepped into this new perspective and an understanding of her life. And she is now prepared for life in case she's going to go through any more emotional challenges, because now she knows what to do whenever anything's going on. So she has it for preventative measures. And I'm telling you, in astrology, if you really pay attention, every 7 years, you're going to be like, "Oh God, why is this happening again? Why do I feel this way?" Right? Because we have to learn how to manage that. And that is astrology. There's math and science behind it. Your life's not random at all, at all. So I want to share with you that imagine having me as a mentor who not only understands your astrological blueprint, but I'm going to translate it into practical, easy to follow wellness plan. And my experience and guidance will help you maintain emotional balance, along with understanding which element really needs to be implemented right away. So this isn't your intuition. This is your chart telling me where we're going to start, right? And as a double Capricorn myself and a natural born leader, I am fully committed to helping women unlock a holistic, vibrant lifestyle that aligns with their soul's journey. And I know investing in a mentorship program that can bring up concerns about time and money. However, the empowerment and the transformation you gain are immeasurable. And this will change your life forever, because it has certainly changed mine. And I provide ongoing support in a way that will respect your time, ensuring that every moment that you invest brings you closer to the balanced and the healthy lifestyle that you deserve, ladies. And I know I'm going to save you both time and money, and there will be no more guessing. You will not have to try and figure it out. Your chart's going to tell me everything. And I want to remind you, this free masterclass is just a quick overview of how I support my clients. And during my 90-day VIP astrological wellness program, I go much deeper into each client's birth chart to provide the exact recommendations so you can begin to feel better right away. I have so many testimonials. I freak people out. They were like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "I don't know that. It's what your chart is telling me," right? And each client is going to receive their own wellness kit that's shipped directly out to them each month, and we focus on implementing these new wellness action steps. So by the end of the program together, they have everything they need along with the simple templates to follow along. And my templates are like, you're going to take it in the morning, you're going to take it at night, you're going to even do some things on certain types of the month, on certain days, depending on the moon, right? And you're going to have everything you need. And no matter if life ever gets you down again during another challenging time in the future, you're always going to have those tools available to you. Just like me, I am always traveling with some very basic things. They never leave my purse, ever, right? A lot of times I'm giving it to other people too, because I know what they're going through. A lot of times it's triggered by astrology. So, like Colette posted in there, I'm going to offer anybody here today a free 30-minute astrological wellness breakthrough session so we can review your current elemental challenge that you intuitively picked up on today. Plus, we're going to review your current holistic lifestyle to see what your goals are, what you're aiming for to feel better. And if you're seriously interested in working with me, we can discuss the coaching dates and the times that are going to be opening in July. And I'm going to encourage you to click on the link in the chat because the spots are extremely limited. We sold out this event. 96 women sold out. And I've only got spots for a few more coaching programs for the summer. So if you are seriously interested watching this now or even live, I'm going to encourage you to go and open that link and book your appointment. Okay.
Has a question. Is the 90-day program one-on-one?
Yes, it has to be. There is no group programs. You get me. People want me. I'm like, okay, you get me, right? So the 90-day program, it's 1 hour coaching calls twice a month. So 1 hour, 1 hour. Plus there's additional educational stuff that are going to be inside the community. Plus, I encourage everybody to watch my videos every week on my YouTube channel, Your Time Matters. Like, get cracking, start paying attention to the sky, because I'm telling you, you'll start to feel it. And then eventually you're going to be able to pick up on things on yourself and go, you know what? I remember Tamron says, when the moon's over here, that's why I feel this way. When the moon's over there, that's why I feel that way. So the coaching is VIP. There's no group coaching. Okay. You get me one-on-one. Does that answer the question? Yeah. Because we all deserve this clarity and the happiness and the fulfillment that aligns with our soul, right? So in the program, again, you don't need your exact time, because most people don't unless they're really into astrology, because you can go to where you were born, the hospital or wherever you were born, but hospitals keep records and it doesn't cost anything to get your birth time. So you can contact the hospital, contact the records department, tell them you want to know the exact time you were born, you give them your information, and it's free. I've had a good friend of mine, she was born in Austria, and she's the same age as me, like she's 61, and she got it within an hour. Like they phoned her back. She was like, oh my God, I thought this was going to take like 6 months. So it is free information, but all I need is your exact day you were born and where you were born. So I can, what we call, cast your chart, like make a picture of the sky, like I showed you early today, right? So I'm going to encourage you, if you're interested, learning more, to get on my calendar, open that link. And I just want to say, ladies, if you are still here right now or listening to this recording, you are meant to hear this, because as an astrologer, I totally believe in destiny. I totally believe that you were meant to hear this information today. And I'm here to take a stand for women like you. And I am, in my life right now, the lighthouse, shining the light through the darkness for all of the other women. And remember, just a single spark of light holds the potential to dissolve the darkness. And I will work with you to uncover more specific information from your chart to help you go deeper and to find those answers. And again, I'm just going to say the spots are really limited. My calendar is only going to be open for the next 3 days. and your journey to a happier, healthier, balanced life, it just is going to start with one more step. So you can book it. And if anybody's still here, if they have any more questions, we'll stop. And Colette, feel free to give all the ladies the bonus gift, okay? And that is the 4-page PDF guidebook that I created, right? And it will give you the link to my YouTube channel, and it's actually the link to my playlist for that recording, because I make the videos every week. And usually I make my videos on Tuesdays, lady. That's usually the days that I put my makeup on, I do my hair, I do my reels, I get on socials. So if you subscribe, you'll get the information early, and then everything goes live. And even after today's event, you're going to be put on the newsletter, so you can unsubscribe if you want. But the weekly newsletter is going to give you the video every week. And if I have anything upcoming or anything going on as I'm traveling around, I'm going to be doing some live events, hopefully later this summer and into the fall, traveling around. So there'll be a lot more fun things to do. And yeah, just spread the love, because I'm going to be honest with you. When you start paying attention to astrology and what's really happening, you're going to understand your feelings. You're going to understand, why you feel a certain way. If you have kids, you might see patterns in your kids, right? You can start, your kids start seeing you using holistic things to help us. We do not see this in mainstream. Like you were even starting to see in movies, women tapping, doing FT. I've even seen Bach flower remedies in the backdrop of videos and stuff like that. Like holistic healthcare is on the rise. This is nothing that is the government can touch. This is teaching women and people how to use food, herbs, plant medicine, trees, right, to balance our health. And they work so fast. I've had testimonials from people that one woman was so sensitive, within an hour, she was phoning me going, "What on earth did you put in that bottle?" So a personalized Bach flower essence remedy, and this is where I'm certified. And it takes a long time to understand how to do this, but your chart will tell me, and intuitively I know too, because sometimes we're going through challenges. There are 38 different emotions we can really experience, right? But if it's a strong emotion, then there is a plant that is associated with that. And that plant is in an essence. And so what I do is, by talking to you and studying your chart, I know which of the 38 to put in a personalized bottle for you. So a lot of women use Rescue Remedy, and I go, listen, Rescue Remedy is a Band-Aid. It's just to calm you down and to bring you back into your body. It's meant for crisis. But a personalized remedy is when I determine which of the other essences go in this bottle. And that's when women are like, whoa, like I feel whole again. I don't have fear. I'm not overwhelmed, so on and so forth. All right. I'm not lethargic anymore. So there's different ones you can do. And that is my expertise and background of over 20 years now. I've been doing this. So some women feel it right away. Some people it takes a day. Some people it's 4 or 5 days they get the shift. And if you take the whole bottle, which I recommend people do anyways, usually by after a month. I have one testimonial from someone I worked with for 28 days. They lived with me for 28 days. They were suicidal. And I can't remember how many days it was. I think it was like 7 or 10 days. Looked in the mirror and started crying and came out. And I thought, oh my God, what's going on? And they were like, I didn't even recognize who I saw in the mirror. Like, can you imagine? Like literally a different version of yourself based on what you were feeling, and feeling so empowered you don't even recognize who's in the mirror. Like that was an amazing testimonial. So this is powerful ways to really support you. So again, I just want to stop and make sure there's no more questions, because we're going like half an hour over, but few people have dropped off. But does anybody have any questions at all? No? We're good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for tagging along and spending more time. I think the next time I offer this, it is going to be 90 minutes, so I have more time for questions and personal stories. Thank you. Thank you, Maggie, for showing up. Thank you for your bravery, right? Because, yeah, I would imagine where you live. I mean, I follow somebody on social media and they're posting a lot. And so I'm like, wow, that is scary times for people. It is scary times, but we are on the verge of a global transformation worldwide. And even some people are even predicting today on the full moon, some astrologers are predicting some major stuff's going to go down. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. This next month is going to be very interesting. So thank you again. And and for the people watching this recording, you'll have gotten this through email. So there's a way you can reply and you can respond back to me. So thanks again. I'm going to stop recording.